Waikanae Beach in New Zealand. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2472. What did I call today's one? Finding how we are related. So we've been talking about some brick walls in the last couple of days. We talked about some brick walls and some ways around those. So today we're going to look at, sorry, there's a draft going up my back. My t-shirt's written up. It's exposed my back. Don't like it when that happens. That's why I like long t-shirts. You can sit on them. Anyway, all right, that's better. Sorry. Probably TMI. Anyway, so the last couple of days we've been talking about finding ways around brick walls. So now we're going to switch it over to DNA matches. If you're on Ancestry, they come up with the DNA matches for you. You can see them there. They give you an estimate based on the centimorgans, which are what they use to find the relationships, find the people who are related to you by blood. They give you an estimate on what the relationship is or possibly could be. And sometimes and people are taking those to heart and going, oh, you're my third cousin, you're my fourth cousin, you're my second cousin once removed, you're my, no, because I have found a lot of those to be incorrect when I've actually figured out the how. So DNA shows that you are blood related. Genealogy shows you how that connection works, how you are related. And this is for any of them. So if you're doing family tree DNA, if you're doing MyHeritage DNA, you're doing 23andMe, all of those ones will give you a guesstimate, and it really is a guesstimate on what they think the relationship is based on the number of centimorgans you have in common. So I've got this one that it has 100. They have 150 people on their tree. And what I did is that in Ancestry, you can go in and you can have it list all the people that are in the tree. And then I copy and paste those into either a Google sheet or a Excel spreadsheet. And you might have to do several screens because they only go up to 100. So you might have to do more. So this one I had to do more. And then what I did is that, of course, they're all there, last name order, is I then sat down and went through my tree doing searches for these last names. Now, some of the last names I came up with matches. Now, the problem is that, and I can't show you this because I don't know how recent some of these people died. But I just got, basically all I have on here for most of them is where they were born and when and where they died, not the dates. Some have dates on them, some don't. But most of these are the US. There's the occasional one that's born in Ireland, which could possibly be a relation because I do have Irish ancestors. And the reason I'm saying possibly be a relation is because that last name is in my tree, and I do have that last name in my tree where they were born in Ireland. So it could be that the person that is on this list could be from that branch of the tree with the same last name from Ireland. I haven't gone wide enough in their tree. I've gone straight up, but I haven't gone to the sides yet to siblings. So they could be a sibling in there. And that could be how the relationship works. So what I've done is I've gone through this list on the Excel spreadsheet and put and highlighted all the ones that were not born in the US. They had some that were born in France and Germany and where else? Austria. Just going down this list real quick. I said Germany. Yeah, but I didn't have any relatives born in those areas. But I do have Ireland, England, another Ireland. Yeah, another Ireland. Got about 4 Ireland ones. So I'm going to start with those ones where I have the same common last name, but not those particular people, and see if I can find a connection there. Got to start with what you know. So by starting with the people whose names I already have in common with the last names, researching those people to see if I go sideways to siblings, are those people there listed, or are they listed? It could be that I've got, like, one of the last names is Lynch, and I've got the Lynch here. They've got a Lynch on their tree. Both were born in Ireland. Are they related in some way? And we're going to go work on that, and we're going to work on that relationship and see if we can find if they're related that way. And the really cool part about Ancestry is that if you are the home person on your Ancestry genealogy tree, anytime you open up a person, it will tell you how you are related to that person. Let me go here real quick and go to one. Let's find I'm going to go back a little bit. Where did I find that other one? Oh, no, that's on the wrong side of the family. Okay. Lynch may not be the one. I didn't look at it look close enough earlier. Jeepers, Helen, can't talk today. Let's see. I should have set one of these up. What was the other one that I found? Lynch was a big one. Oh, hang on. No. So that wasn't one of them. That was the other one. Let's try that one. Let's see what we've got in here. And their one was, we don't have a date. Okay, so we're going to go back a little bit here. No, that one works. That'll work. Oh, that goes through that line. That goes through that way. Interesting. Okay, so this is going back to my 7th great grandmother. All right, so let's open her profile. Now, one of the last names that we have in common is Harrison. And so let me get over here where I can share my screen with you. And I want the ancestry one, that one. Okay, let's see if we can blow this up a little bit for you. Oops, that's a little, there we go. Okay. So this is, I'm going to see if I can see what it is. Okay, so this is Elizabeth Harrison. She was born in 1681 in Worcestershire, England. There's the name of that source. And it shows here that she is my 7th great grandmother. And she's a Harrison. Now, Harrison is one that we have in common. And there, Harrison was born in England and died in Canada and was James William. But I don't have a year or a date or anything. This is the only thing that I have on Harrison from this era. I don't know if this is the same one or not, but what I can do is get on the right screen over here. So I can come down here and you can see over here I have her husband, their son. This is my 6th great grandfather here. And that's all I've got on them. Now, this is potentials. These potentials you have to be careful of. They're like when you go into the family trees that they have. Like if we go into hints, let's go over here to hints. Where's hints? If we go over here and have a look at hints. Oops. Okay, so this is somebody's family tree, Cotton Daniels family tree, and they're showing that they've got Elizabeth Harrison, who was born the 12th of June in 1861. So 1681 in that same place, and that her death was in 1739. Her child was Samuel. We've got that. We've got another child there, James. Now, this may or may not fit in with my tree. So far, the information looking good, except that I've got the actual birth dates and the death dates in there, which I don't have. And then we come down here, and this shows you all the children that this people had and who her father was. I would have to research this to see if this is the same family as what I have, but I never accept these trees into my tree because I don't know. And I can actually click here and go into their tree, and it will show up here that I'm in their family tree up here. And I can see all the information that they have, and I can see what sources that they have here as well. So I can see, okay, they've got baptism here. So let's have a look at this baptism record. And it's we've got an image of it here, and it shows that it's a marriage. It shows marriage. Okay. Type of event, marriage. Look at that. Oh, baptisms, marriages, and burials. And that she married John Ingalls. So Liz Harrison married John Ingalls on the 29th of January, 1707. If we have a look at the image, I'm going to show you something really, I don't know if I can show this, how this is do this. Okay. So they've got here marriage. Will Harris of the parish of Stafford. That's not the right one. That's burials. Oh, hang on. Yeah, here we go. So this is a copy of what's in the parish records in North and Middle Littleton. And it's a transcript of the Register book of the parish of North Middleton of the christenings, marriages, and burials from 1707. That's got day. I can't remember what that one says. But what you can do This is a really cool trick. You want to know how AI is very helpful for genealogists? Is you can take a screenshot. I could take a screenshot of this, drop it into ChatGPT and say, please transcribe. And it will transcribe it out for me. You still have to be careful and go back and double check that it's not putting letters in there. But this one's pretty clear. John Ingalls and Liz Harrison, both of this parish, were married January 29th, 707. 1707. Bands first published. So you have to remember back in those days they had bands that would be read for 3 weeks prior to their wedding, and anybody who wanted to object had time to object before they actually had their official wedding. And even this one up here is December 3rd of 707. I think that's what we had, wasn't it? And so yes, that could be them. Yeah, 707. 1707. They didn't put the one in front. We've also got births. That's the. We've got another marriage one here. Let's have a look at this marriage one and see what it says. It just has the script written out of what was written in the ledger that we saw. And then for the christening one, I tell you, it's really interesting what you can find on these things. This is supposed to be her christening. Baptismal date was 12th of June, 1691. Now, see, they have 12th of June as her birth date. That is not true. Birth date and baptism dates can be different. They can be years apart. So her baptismal date is different to her birth date, unless on the actual record it has listed this is their baptismal date and this is the day they were born. And some of them will handwrite that into the column. There's no column there for it. But like my third great grandfather was baptized when he was 5. So you never know what's going on. But could this be part of my tree? It may be part of my tree, but I would rather use this as hints and tips for places to look, for people to look for, and to see if it fits into my tree. So I'm just going to go back here. So I'm out of the Cotton Daniels family tree and back into my tree. Okay, so I usually ignore those because I want to use them as, I usually hit ignore because I will go back into I can go back into the ignores here and pick it up there. And then this is that marriage record that we were looking at just now. There's select marriages as well. This is another family tree site, the Genenet community. I found weird things on that one. So again, have a look and ignore. I can pull the details out later on. And then this is the mother and the father and their son Samuel. It doesn't have any years on there, so I would have to go in and have a look at that to see if it's the same year. And then there's one here for Elizabeth Harrison, birth about 1682. Baptism was the 16th of July, 1682 in Norfolk, England. Is that the same as the one that was on that tree that had them in 1681, had the 12th of June, 1681? So I'm going to have to go and have a look at that because I've now got 2 conflicting records showing up on 2 different trees. So I'd have to go in and have a look to figure out if this is the right one, or if she was actually born baptized in 1682, or if she was baptized in 1681, as was on that other document that we found in the other person's tree. So that's just some of the fun stuff that you can have with this. And so I'm going to start with Elizabeth Harrison to see if I can find a James William Harrison that was born in England and eventually went to Canada. So, all right, there we are. We're back again. So that's why I'm going to start going through the names I've highlighted that were not born in the US. Some of the family went to Canada because I've got family members that went to Canada. I have met online. I have met a 7th cousin once removed who lives in Canada. I've met his first cousins once removed who are my 7th cousins who live in Wales. We've all traced this through family tree, and I was actually had a DNA match with the 7th cousin once removed. I don't think I have a DNA match with the 2 first cousins, though. The 2 7th cousins. I don't think I have a DNA match with them. I might have. I've got so many DNA matches. But I also have DNA matches on different trees. So when I'm in Ancestry, if I've got them matching from another DNA match, because I've done family tree DNA, I've done 23andMe, and I've done Ancestry, and I did them in those orders. And I can go into any one of those and I can pick up the relationships there, research them. Then I'll come into my Ancestry and say that this is a DNA match from another source. So that's not from a Ancestry match, it's from another DNA match. And I've done that as well because you can do that on your trees. And I've done in the other trees, I've gone and put DNA matches on those and said it's from another source. So we've got all this cross-referencing going on. But with these names here, I'm also going to go into I will go into my other two DNA matches and see if I have any DNA matches there for the same person or somebody on their tree. So that's just another way of finding out how you were related, is going in and finding those matches and seeing where they are. Some of them are really helpful because they turn around and say, here is your common great-grandparent. I'm like, yay! So a few of them have had my fifth great grandmother and father in there, my fifth great grandparents, and they've got like 4 or 5 children, and I now have DNA matches in every one of their children to that particular grandparents. They're all fourth cousins, and so yeah, I have a fifth great grandparent. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can quickly bring that up for you. Oops, that's the wrong window. Try that one. Go to the right window, Helen. That makes a big difference when you're in the right window. Go to view tree, find in tree. Clarissa. Oh, sorry, third great grandmother. So this one here, yeah, this will work. Here she is. Just finding her. She found her. All right, I'm going to show you this one really quick because it's really cool. This one. Okay, so here's Clarissa Thomas. Let me go over to that window. Here's Clarissa Thomas and John Short. These are my third great grandparents. Now, if you come down here to their children, they have a lot of children. Okay? But what's interesting is I have DNA matches on 2 of them. Well, actually, it's my second great grandparents. I also, it's not showing up. Why is this not showing them? Oh, because they're through lines. That's right. So I have to go, I've got DNA matches down here. I don't want to go too far down on some of these. Charles Cochrane, I've got DNA matches down there. So I have to keep coming down here to find the DNA match. But what it does, and I've got a DNA match through Ethel, one through Gladys, one through Charles. I've got a couple through Rose. If I go down to there, further another line down there, you'll see that I start having DNA matches. And the DNA matches will have these. This one here shows it's a through line. Yeah, that's a through line. This one shows that it's a through line. I think it's a through line. Hang on. Let's click on it and find out. Yeah, add DNA matches descending from Clarissa. So if I come here, and this now, oops, it actually shows living people. We're gonna put that one away. It shows the people that I've got that connect back through Clarissa and John Short on the tree. So this is my second great grandfather. So those of you who want to know, just to give you a little bit of history, those of you who know that I write songs, that I have some singers, and this is how I come up with their name. So if I go here to Sarah Adelaide Gordon, her mother's name is Brody, and her, hang on, I got to find the other one. I think it's on this one. Oh, where did it go? No, it was through that line, I thought. Hang on, one moment, please. I'll get this worked out here eventually. There is a Carmichael in here somewhere. So Brody is the name of one of my singers, and his last name is Carmichael. So that's my third great grandmother there, is Elizabeth Brody. We don't know if she was born in Ireland or Scotland yet. There's a lot of, keep running into people that give me different opinions and different ideas and stuff. And I'm going to come over here and type in, it was a woman. Is it this one? No, earlier than that. I had the Carmichael in there as a last name for a grandmother. I just have to find the right one. She was born in 1835, but somebody was older than that. Why is it not showing up on this one? Interesting. Oh, okay. Because one of the things here that I found was that, or maybe it was Robert Gordon's parents that are not in here. How did I find out that she was a Carmichael, though? Because her mother-in-law, Elizabeth Brody's mother-in-law, was a Carmichael. They were married to Thomas Gordon. But I can't find her on my tree, and I don't know why she's not sitting there showing that. That's interesting. I'm going to have to go investigate that one because this one here was a Carmichael. This is Brodie, and that's how I got Brodie Carmichael's name. And you want to know another one? So I just got a new singer out there that's called Vivian. And she is after my 4th great-grandmother here, who is Jane Vivian. This is my 4th great-grandmother, is Jane Vivian. So that's where the Vivian came from. And then if we go over to the other side, and that's on my mum's side of the family. And this is my 2nd great-grandmother. And she comes up. This is my 2nd great-grandmother, who is Clara Ann Harper. And so that's how I got Vivian Harper. And the reason that I chose Vivian Harper for this song, well, especially the Harper, is that my 2nd great-grandmother here, along with a couple of other 2nd great-grandmothers, were part of the women's suffragette movement in 1893, and she's actually signed a petition from 1893 that gave women the right to vote in New Zealand. We became the first country in the world to give women the right to vote in 1893. And somewhere in here I have her. Yeah. I go in here. This is really cool. So proud of this. Acceptable. This is the petition here that was signed in Wanganui, which is where my 2nd great-grandmother was. And you can actually see the sheets. I've got to remember how to get into the sheets. They've actually got them all digitized so you can actually see them. I think that's the right button. Come on, open up. Nope, that's not the right button. So this was signed in 1892, and women got the right to vote in 1893. Hang on. Let's see if we can find it this way. This is the New Zealand archives. And here comes up there she was there, Clara Ann Harper Ekins. That was my 2nd great-grandmother. And if we can get into the image, trust that. I don't think this is going to, I'm not sure what screen you guys are on. Oh, no, you're not even on the right screen. Hang on. We've got to shift the screens here. One moment. Need to replace it with this one. Sorry, I was going to different screens, not realizing you guys were still on the same screen. But if we go to this one and we come down here at the bottom. Oops, hang on. I forgot my mouse does that. Right here at the bottom, Mrs. Ekins. This is my 2nd great-grandmother's signature right here. So this is on the petition for the women's suffragette from 1893. She's on sheet 478. Pretty cool, huh? But you can go back and you can find that. And you can learn more about the suffragette movement in New Zealand in the National Archives and that. But they had thousands and thousands of women that signed this petition, and they presented in Parliament. And in 1893, New Zealand granted women the right to vote. And we became the first country in the world to do so. And for the States, I want to say they were like the 1930s when they got the right to vote, but don't quote me on that. But I know it was late. It was in the early part of the 1900s. England was early 1900s. It was before the States. The States was like one of the last countries. It was after Australia, after the UK. Yeah. So, but just some interesting things that you can find out along the way. There's all sorts of places you can go. Like that was the New Zealand National Archives. They have a whole bunch of stuff that's digitized. They have stuff that you actually have to appear in person to see. If you want to see the record, you actually have to appear in person to see it for some of the records because of their sensitive nature. So yes, they do censor some stuff based on the nature of the report and everything. But that's just some things about finding out how you are related, is taking those names, finding the last name in your tree, and then seeing if you can find a connection between the person that's in their tree and the person that's in your tree. There may be a connection, there may not. It could be a different name altogether. So, but that's it. So that's it from us for today. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here